So let's go to the story now. The issue of counterfeit tickets has plagued the sporting events in the country for years, with football matches involving Kaizer Chiefs as well as Orlando Pirates in particular seeing a surge in these criminal elements that have at times gone as bad as causing the loss of lives. And this has been a major issue, Andy, that has been raised before.
Yeah, indeed, Aldrin, a big issue. As you were talking about the several colours of the budget, there'll be several colours that will be mattering this morning. Of course, the black and white and the black and gold, as Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates are going to be having that press conference. Well, organisers and the two clubs are now planning on new ways to curtail the spread of counterfeit tickets and will hold that media briefing this morning at the FNB Stadium. That's where we'll find our very own Benjamin Leshoro, who is there now as they prepare to get that presser going to tell us a bit more. Benji, of course, no clear agenda in terms of the press conference, and we can only speculate in terms of what we will be hearing. Counterfeit tickets has been a big problem that continues to plague particularly the Soweto derby.
Good morning, Andy. In fact, we do have confirmation that the briefing this morning will be around the issue of ticketing, particularly at venues managed by stadium management. And I'm talking about the likes of FNB Stadium as well as Orlando Stadium. That's why you have the two teams that play their home games at those two particular venues. And I'm standing just outside the FNB Stadium at Gate C at the moment. And this is a ticketing center. And I'm standing here deliberately because it's one of the issues that will be addressed today by stadium management as well as the two clubs as to how they're going to manage the spread of counterfeit tickets from this moment on going forward, and in particular in the big matches at those two venues. The last derby, the last Soweto derby on the 1st of February this year, at kickoff, about 15,000 spectators were still outside the venue with legitimate tickets but unable to get into the venue. And this is something that obviously would frustrate anyone. And the reason was that there were counterfeit tickets or ticket holders who had gained access into the venue. And according to Bertie Grobler, who is one of the big wigs at stadium management, he says the issue here is digital versus till slip tickets, and says that many of the spectators on that day, about 43,000, had till slip tickets, which are easier to copy or to make counterfeit of, and they gained access into the stadium because at some point during that game it was discovered that there were more fans into the venue than the capacity at FNB Stadium, and we all know what that has the potential of resulting into stampedes, and there's been loss of lives before. Over 20 years ago, we saw at Ellis Park Stadium 43 people dying because of exactly that. And what happens is that fans outside the stadium get frustrated, and whatever action happens or takes place inside the venue excites them, and there could be scenes that nobody really wants to see repeated. So we'll hear from the two clubs as well as stadium management this morning as to how they plan going forward to make sure that it does not happen again. The next Soweto derby will take place at this venue on the 3rd of May, and we're hoping that the process can be accelerated to see exactly how the criminal elements will be rooted out, Andy.
Yeah, and then Benji, just before I let you go then, you're speaking about what happens before the games do start with counterfeit tickets, but another issue is what happens during the course of the games. Just last week, we heard the PSL DC issuing out fines to both of those clubs, 125,000 Rand to Orlando Pirates, while Kaizer Chiefs would have to pay 150,000 Rand due to fan misbehavior. One should then expect that in the theme of safety at the stadium, this will be an issue that will be addressed by both clubs and stadium management.
Of course, Andy, it is one of the things that has to be addressed by the two clubs. Well, for one, they have the responsibility to do so. But secondly, they have actually been forced by the league or the league prosecutor, Zola Majavu, to do something about it. He has ordered them to posted or to address it on their respective websites. This is besides just the fine, because there's been talk of what does it do, because the fine is actually hurting the pocket of the club. It doesn't hurt the fans. But what needs to be done to have better spectator behavior at stadiums? And one can argue that it really starts with the issue of ticketing. Do you have legitimate ticket holders who come to stadiums? And what does, or how do they plan to root it out? I mean, are we just going to see clubs being fined at all times? Because Zola Majavu has actually before said, until such a time that the rules are changed, this is the only course of action that we can take. But what do the two clubs plan to do about it to make sure that not only do they not suffer a financial blow, but their respective fans are safer going to the big games or any game involving either Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates?